Aaron Rodgers is going to sit injured reserve last couple of games. The article basically points out something we've really been on here for a couple of years. And this is one of these things that it bothers me because I'm such a believer. My life has been transformed multiple times. You work at a company, the company sells, it buys, it sells. That's the world we live in. And that's why I'm pro-athlete over pro-owner. That I do believe that a guy like Aaron Rodgers gets one shot at this, and Aaron needs to make sure Aaron protects Aaron Rodgers because he's one of the great talents of my life. And Aaron said something when he came back against Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and I thought there was a little message here. Do you remember what Aaron Rodgers said at that press conference right before he played Carolina? Let's play this bite.
I'm not coming back to save this team. I'm coming back to play quarterback the way I know how to play it, and hopefully we all raise the level of our play collectively and find a way to win these 3 games.
I'm not a savior. Okay, I'm not a savior. This relationship in Green Bay is an unhealthy, uneven relationship. By the way, Green Bay, 2 best offensive linemen, let them both go. He asked to keep Jared Cook. They let him go. The guy they brought in, Martellus Bennett, is already on his second team. The 2 defensive players they let go, Micah Hyde and Casey Hayward, both Pro Bowlers this week. Aaron Rodgers is in an unhealthy relationship and should push back. By the way, we do realize Green Bay is Buffalo. Buffalo has been irrelevant my entire NFL life outside of Jim Kelly. And if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, go check out that Packer record, 20 years, Len Dickey years. Green Bay is Buffalo, cold, isolated, and unattractive to free agents. You are only talked about, only discussed because of Aaron Rodgers. He is, as he said there, he has had to have been your savior for the last 5 years. You let 2 defensive players walk. They both made the Pro Bowl. He asked for Jared Cook. You wouldn't keep him. I don't think Aaron has the personality to ever walk out of Green Bay. There'd be some blowback. I just don't think that's him. Maybe I'm wrong. But you do realize you are a smaller version of Buffalo in 2017, where capital and income and commerce matters, without Aaron Rodgers. This has been a waste of a season for him, a complete and utter waste of a season. And I criticized Andrew Luck on this. Why in the world were you into such a rush to re-sign with the Colts? You had an impulsive owner, an incompetent GM, and a defensive-minded coach. I don't think Aaron would ever push back. But the Packers owe him an apology, not only for this year, but the last several. The dude doesn't ask for much. Jared Cook, TJ Lang, Micah Hyde. He doesn't ask for much, and you don't have the ability to attract those kind of guys. It's time you started overpaying for a few. It's the least you could do. So Bill Belichick of the Patriots is aware of legacy. He's aware of history. He's sort of an NFL historian. That is a fact. He knows his legacy. He knows Paul Brown, Bill Parcells, Bill Walsh. He is a historian with football. His dad was a coach. He's a historian in the NFL. He knows his legacy. Number 2, Bill Belichick holds grudges. Don't kid yourself. He was never going to give Garoppolo to the Cleveland Browns because they fired him. And it has been reported that the Cleveland Browns and Hugh Jackson wanted Garoppolo. And basically he said anybody but Cleveland. So he's aware of his legacy and he holds grudges. So years ago in the mid-90s, 1994, Bob Kraft buys the Patriots. They hire Bill Belichick in 2000. Belichick drafts Tom Brady that year. Kraft's net worth explodes. Bob Kraft becomes kind of a rock star owner after Jerry Jones in the NFL. One of the more powerful guys. But over that course of time, Brady and Kraft have more in common than Kraft and Belichick, who's a little bit of a loner, right, and a workaholic. And Kraft lets Belichick run the franchise for 15 years. And you know how Belichick is. He got rid of, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Seymour. He lets him get rid of guys. And then all of a sudden, a year ago, Belichick had Garoppolo, And everybody knew Garoppolo was great. In fact, Albert Breer told us yesterday, everybody in the facility knew that Garoppolo was going to go wherever he went and be a star. They all knew it. And basically, Belichick came up and said, hey, this is the future. We may want to think about moving Tommy. And Kraft said, no, I'm not letting you move Tommy. So for the first time in 15 years, Kraft said, time out. No, you're not doing that. And Belichick's pissed because Belichick, to my opening point, is well aware of his legacy, and he holds grudges, and Belichick wanted to prove this damn thing in New England is more about me than Tommy, and he wanted to win with Garoppolo. And he loves Tommy, but this is what Belichick's MO is. You move off everybody, including Brady, and Brady's acknowledged that for years, that he knew that at some point Belichick would move off him. And Belichick wanted to move off him really soon, and Kraft said no. Because Belichick isn't tight with Kraft. Kraft is tighter with Tommy. They're both kind of Hollywoodish. They're both more social. I know somebody that's been in the company of Kraft, and Brady's called him multiple times. They're tight. And so the owner sided with the star quarterback and pissed Belichick off. He holds grudges. He's aware of legacy. He wanted to win with Garoppolo to prove, yeah, Tommy's great, but I was the magic man here. So what does Belichick do? And this is my theory. He says, all right, okay. And he gives away Garoppolo, and he gives away Jacoby Brissett. You tell me Bill Belichick is one of the smartest guys in league history. How in God's name do you give away Jacoby Brissett, to me either an elite Case Keenum level backup or a mid-level starter, for a bust wide receiver in Indy? That's not Bill Belichick. How do you give Garoppolo up for a second-round pick? That's all you paid for him. What? But now, what is New England's future? They don't have a next quarterback. And so Belichick a year ago, weren't you and I, when they gave away Brissett and Garoppolo, going, why so sudden? What the hell are you doing? That's so un-Belichick. The guy's drafted a quarterback every year for 15 years. He's over-prepared at quarterback. Suddenly gives them both away. When Bill moves on quickly here, they got no backup plan and a 41-year-old Tommy Brady. Bill knows his legacy. Kraft dinged his legacy because Belichick wanted to prove Tommy's great. I can win with Garoppolo too. And Kraft got in the way of that, and Bill holds grudges. And Bill's like, all right, I'll retire a few years sooner. Move down to Jupiter, Florida full-time in golf. Maybe do some front office stuff for the Dolphins, Jags, somebody like that, like Tom Coughlin's doing. But it's my belief there's no way it makes any sense what they did with Garoppolo and Brissett, and they did it bang, bang. Albert Breer, by the way, Albert Breer on the show, what was Albert talking about yesterday? He told us yesterday why there might be some tension between Kraft and Belichick, and he pointed to this.
And I think part of the problem there is Bill Belichick couldn't trade Tom Brady. That couldn't even be a discussion in the building. And with any other player, I think it would have been. Any other player at 40 years old or even into his mid-30s, that discussion would have come up. Do we go with the younger guy? Do we go with the older guy? One of the goals for Belichick has been to usher the Patriots from the Brady era into the next era. And based on his age and based on the fact they can't trade Brady and based on the fact that his heir apparent is now in San Francisco, I think it's becoming pretty clear that it's going to be difficult for Bill Belichick to do that.
Yeah, all makes sense to me now. Hi, everybody, and thanks for watching. We want you to subscribe here, to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.